Hi, good evening and welcome back. It's RTO season number 8, round number 5. We come from a nice, chilled, cool Barcelona circuit. It was warm last week at Laguna Seca, 225-minute races, lots of crashes, lots of incidents in the first couple of laps, which made it difficult for the drivers, especially in the heat and towards the end of the races. The tyres were screaming because it was near 40 degrees on the track temperature, but much cooler temperatures here in Barcelona. But we do have a 60-minute event for you with a mandatory stop in the middle of it all as well. So they just need to take fuel. They don't need to take tyres, but I've got a feeling that most people here will take tyres because it is incredibly hard on the tyres around Barcelona circuit. Lots of tight twisty turns, heavy braking zones, fast corners. It's got everything the real driver really wants to see, and we have 22 drivers on the grid for you this week. And looking forward to seeing how these guys get on. They are just rolling through the final minutes of practice. So while they do that, let's just bring you the up-to-date standings, which for some reason I've just decided to show everyone the points. And we'll just change that now to the pros. So Matt Whitburn leads by a massive, monumental 97 points from Dan Watts. I think Matt Whitburn pretty much has this up his sleeve already. Positions he's finished in: third, second, first. I mean, the man is an absolute machine. Dan Watts, though, no slouch, had a couple of bad results in the start of the week, and obviously couldn't race the first week due to injury. So is trying been chasing him down, but had some interesting results throughout the way. So trying to be a bit more consistent over the last 3 rounds. I know Dan Watts. A newcomer to RTO League, Timothy Judabao from Fear Nothing Moto in P3, looking to say to Dan Watts, nope, I'm going to take your P2 away from you and keep Sigurd Refsik behind me in the other RTO BMW. Then you got Ben Nergard from RTO in P5, with Simon Bauer missing quite a few races but still in P6, with Aidan Carter for Odid Motorsports having a really good result last week. Shame he couldn't race a couple of weeks this time because He's lost a few points. The 20 points there you see in red has been removed because he did tell us he wasn't able to make those rounds, and for some reason, even though one of them he did sign out on, it gave him 20 points. So we've removed those and put them back. So it puts him into a much better contention for the top 5 spots, if he can have a couple of good races. Liam Page not with us this week, and Paul Sadlowski had a really struggle last week at Laguna Seca. Expecting much better results from Paul this week. And Thomas Nopek has joined us this week, so he is only able to race a few tracks. Those 30 points will be removed as well and put back on, because he has told me at the start of this season that he can only make a few rounds, so we'll get those amended. So that puts him on 97 points, actually, past Paul Sadlowski. So you got to remember, he had a first and a fourth. It should have been 2 firsts at Red Bull Ring in round number 2, but he is thereabouts, fighting for a few places. Dan Everson not with us this week. Brent Minnan is with us, so we'll be out on track. John Hill has pulled out of the league, so he will be removed from the standings. Then we look at Silver. Christoph Holzer leading from Fabian Wenger. These two having a really good battle all season long. Rasmus Abelstead having some good results as well during the season, a couple of podiums and a first place as well. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top in the Silvers. As always, these guys are always extremely close. So bear in mind, it's a lot of points here for a win. So 60 points, I believe it is. So you've got to just make sure that you have a good result, and you can be right back in it at the top ends, at the sharp end of your tables. Tom Solis in P4 and in front of Jordan Lockwood, and James Rawlins and Elias Linder. Elias Linder has pulled out of the season, so he's not able to contend with us anymore. Elshog Perry and Paul Whitburn. And Dreambound has the 20 points that was there has been removed, because he did tell us he couldn't start there. He is part of the RTO team, but he couldn't actually sign out on one of the leagues because the SimGrid website was actually down. So unfortunately we had to give him fortunately for him, we gave him the 20 points back. So that puts him back into contention for those up to P7, P6 if we can have a couple of good results. Then we take you to the AMS. Ben Munro not able to race with us this week, so it's wide open now between him and Daniel Solis. Chris Wilson also not available this week. Phil Mitchell has also pulled out of the season. Ross Brown still here. Brian Bond in the Bentley P6. Daniel Zlatnik not able to race this week, and Cappy Maid, I believe, has also pulled out of the season. So a few of those drivers not making it all the way to the end. And then finally, we've also only got now, believe it or not, Paul Cook, David Granez, and Ike Tuis for the Wildcard Series drivers. So as far as I know, these are the only drivers left on the grid for the wildcards, but they're just driving for fun, and hopefully we'll see them in season number 9 at RTO on the grid properly, and see how they get on against some of the other drivers that they're racing with. And so yeah, but now we bring you some of the live action from here at Barcelona. Barcelona was the circuit which was started construction in the 24th of February 1989, 2 days before my birthday. I would have been 4 years old. I know, old guy, doesn't sound like it. I know, guys, you're too kind. Opened in on the 10th of September 1991 and has 140k capacity, so 140,000 seats or places to stand and watch amazing racing, which is also used in Formula 1, MotoGP, World Superbikes, and obviously here the GT World Challenge in Europe. It has 16 turns, 9 to the left and 7 to the right with this current layout, and we bring you some of the action now from the drivers who are out on grid trying to get their laps up and running. And so let's bring you some of the live action from these boys. David Granez off the track already. I mean, I'm not sure where he is, to be fair. That was we literally just caught him in mid-air at one point there, so that was quite interesting. You can see a nice new timing board on the left-hand side as well. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that timing board. Welcome in to Subsy, Russie, Mr. Links, how you doing? And Brett Minnan. Pros are second, sorry. Yes, the last 10 minutes, my friend, last 10 minutes. So, be looking out for some of these lap times to be coming in. We have some really good times to be seen here, I'm sure. There are some seriously quick drivers. So, it'll be interesting to see who gets what and yeah, what cars we've got on the grid. You can see there BMW, Hondas, Aston Martins, Ferraris, Fords, Bentley, and a couple of McLarens and a Porsche. So there's plenty of different drivers out on the track. And we are with the Honda at the moment of David Granez, joined from the start of from round number 2, I think it was, at RTO. So it's really good to see the Fair Nothing Motor Boys bringing more and more drivers to the league. Great to see, and hope to see them back again next season. Been really good racing with them, actually. There's been some really clean races, and yeah, really good to have them aboard with us, and I hope you found a nice little home to go and take your team racing, boys. Marius, how's it going? Good to see you. It's been a while to see you here. No worries, Brent. Great to see you back in here, mate. I hope you'll join us for Season 9 as well yourself. A nice timing board. I know, it even has the RTO colours on the left. Look at that. So the only thing you won't see on that timing board is any penalties. So I'll have to get updates from Race Control and be able to let you know exactly who is where and what's going on. Yeah. Right, so we'll bring you session best relatives. You can see no one set a time just yet, but there's a couple of drivers on grid now. We're, in fact, number... Paul Cook is going to come round first. You can see it's very, very... Well, the sun is setting quite nicely and low here. So it's 7 p.m. at the moment. You'll find that 7 p.m. it will go to 9 p.m. by the end of the race. So for a fastest lap, 44.8 from Paul Cook to start with, as you can see at the top of your screen. Trumped straight away by David Graness, a 43.3. So there you go. There's the benchmark at the moment. A gap of about 1.4 seconds. Daniel Solis 2.5 further back, with Brian Bond in the Bentley in P4 at the moment. Waiting for Russ Brown to come across the line. But here we go. Using another different coloured Aston Martin this time. And doesn't quite settle up that time, so obviously had made a mistake somewhere. And the same with Ike as well. Hasn't, I don't know if he's on a lap or not. I don't think he is, actually. I think this is out lap, so definitely keep an eye on Ike to see how he gets on with this quali. I'll tell you what we don't have. There we go, that's what you needed. One day I'll get it right. The league's going good, Maris. Thank you. Absolute mad lad, Brian. I know. I'm a Bentley man. I'm back in my Bentley. I'm really enjoying it. But it's not one for the faint-hearted. I won't lie. Right, it's getting his lights on. It's obviously getting a bit dark out there. Still one of the nicest sounding cars in this game, without question, is that Bentley. I don't think anything beats it. Oh, and I just realised I say that, and you guys can't hear a bloody thing. There you go. Now you can. Sorry, guys. I had it off because while we were doing all the intros, obviously you didn't want to hear that. Oh, and that's very sideways. That's not how you do that, Brian. Don't stamp on the loud pedal too hard because you end up facing the way. You just come. It is when it's got the bops. So it's a yes. If you use it on the Bentley on an LFM bop, then it can be really, really compatible. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it again. Actually finding pace to be up with Dan and refs again in it, which is really nice. I don't know why, it just suits my driving. And as long as you can get it out of the corners, it's so good. It's the only problem with the Bentley is, as Brian showed us a couple of corners ago, that the back end is very, very twitchy. So it can cause some issues. Let's just bring the sound up so you can... Right, I'll tell you what. Let's do it one better, shall we? On board we go with the Bentley. The sun setting nicely round turn 3. So through Repsol, turn number 4, drops down slightly, get over to the right hand side, braking on the curb. It's like a late apex here, don't want to have the throttle on too much. You should be in second gear coming out of there, Brian, just to help you out. Roll it through there in second gear, you get a much better exit. Turn number 6 coming up. Through, turn 7, Worth. Over the curb, you should be bouncing over, hugging it on the right hand side. Then it's literally arrive and drive, kick it down a gear, just let it roll through the corner. Don't want to be up on the curb too much because you'll get it understeered through Campsa. And it unsettles the car just slightly. Been driving a Mustang lot and recently in iRacing. Yeah, the Mustang is good here as well, doing the trial 20. Oh, nice, Matt, it's nice. That'll be really good to see if you're, how you get on there. Let us know in the Discord how you get on, buddy. So, around the last few corners, David Graness still leading the times at the moment for the, in fact, all three guys at the front there are from the wildcards. So you got Paul Graness from... David Granez from Paul Kirk from Ike 2s, and then you've got Daniel Solis, who's going to, well, if he can have two good races here, this good race here, he's going to lead the AMS after this race. So it'd be really good to see where he pops up. So we've had a nice little lap in the Bentley. That was a good little lap from Brian at P5. So up to P5 currently. And there's Ross Brown still to come around. So at the moment, ahead of his arch rival. So Ross is actually just come around the final corner to start a lap. So just needs to keep it nice and tidy around here. I mean, the thing with Barcelona, you really do need to keep a rhythm. Keep it nice and smooth. Put in your banker lap and then find where the grip is. Find where the push you can push. So as you can see on the left-hand side, the Silvers and Pros starting to queue. Not quite sure why they're queuing that early. Bit of a strange one. They want to lose all their tyre temperature. That's entirely up to them. So Ross Brown, let's see how he goes on this lap. See if he can keep it nice and tight on the right-hand side through Renault. Move it over to the left. You want to use all the curb and some on that left-hand side. That's a very good line. And then you can just roll the car, because as you can see, it's an uphill here and it's slightly cambered. You can carry a little bit more speed than you think, but then it levels out on the exit, so you end up getting a bit of oversteer. So you need to try and keep that to the right-hand side, maybe even in the middle of the track, so that you get a much better entrance to turn 5, the left-hander. Then we go through turn 7, Worth, hook it again, not up over the curb on that one. Trust me, the Bentley, it will go over that like it's not even there. Not sure about the Aston, but you don't want to be over the inside on Campso, which he doesn't. He runs it out nicely. It's a very, very good lap, this one. So we'll look to see how he gets on. Not using all the track on the way in to turn number 10. Should have kept it over to the right side. As I say quite often when I'm doing a bit of coaching with people, you've bought all the game, use all the track. It's as simple as that. And then round the final couple of corners, see where managed to put this one in. At the moment, Daniel Solis is on a slightly better lap, but we'll pick him up in a little bit. So Russ Brown's going to come across the line, 1.6 up on his best lap, puts in P4. Good lap from Russ Brown. That's the fastest of the AM, so really good to see a good little lap there. As you can see, all the pros are now starting to bleed out. So we will catch those in a little bit. Oops, that's not what I wanted. All right. Oh. Yeah, he was going faster. David Greness, Fear Nothing Moto in the Honda. As he comes up through Campsa. Sorry, no. Yeah, up through Nissan. And to turn number 11. Keeps it nice over the curb. He's still up a 10th. It's a very good lap, this one. 43.3 at the moment on the board. What I can do to try and help you this. That shows you their live deltas on their best laps at the moment. You can see he is up a 10th for me. Yeah, there you go. He's up a 10th. Just lost it on the exit. Oh, has he managed to keep it? No, he lost all his time on the exit, so he's not actually going to improve. You can see it's now gone red. So lost it in the final corner. So there you go. But crucially, 1.1 ahead of Paul Cook in the other wildcard entry. So there you go. And we've got Ben Nergard going nice and slow. Who the heck has lost it out there? Someone in the McLaren has lost their car. So a couple of guys already gone first. I think that would be a Matt Whitburn. It's already gone. So Ben's going to be the third one across the line. Racing in the BMW this season. Usually in the Mercedes. But has opted for the other German manufacturer, and he's being chased by a absolute mad lad, and in a car that sounds absolutely crazy, but probably one of the nicest sounding cars, the Mustang, the Ford Mustang. Paul Sadlowski at the wheel of the RTO Mustang. Ooh, likes to use 0TC, believe it or not. I'm not sure if he's done that today, but he definitely does like to use 0TC. Nice delivery, you like it? But I saw my old friends were racing, so I thought, yeah, definitely, get in. definitely get in and come and join us. Really good to see you on board with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good old tic-tac. Mustang spotted. Mustang, just for you, Moritz. Alright, just for you. Yeah, he was just kissing the inside curb. You can see working at the steering wheel just behind the tower there. Got 7 minutes to go. Oh, bit of understeer, carrying maybe a little bit too much speed through there. But I think he's catching Ben at the moment on this lap. It'll be interesting to see where he pops this Mustang by the end of this first lap, the first run. I've got a couple of runs between them. Oh, very wide! Oh my word! He's gonna have no rear tyres left at the end of this, I'll tell you now. I don't think this is the car you want to be running 0TC on. So Matt Whitburn straight to the top, a 43.1. Is he still in? We'll have a look in a minute. Is he still in the Rainbow RTO puke car? But Paul Sadlowski pops it into P4. Simon Bauer P3. And Ben actually didn't manage to set a lap there, so let's have a look and see. Thomas Nopek straight to the top, 43.0 for the other Mustang in the pros. Like I say, Thomas doesn't manage to get all the races with us, but he is here this week. So great to see Thomas back on track with us. And trust me, if anything is to go by when we were at the 2 races at the Red Bull Ring, this man is one to watch because he is seriously quick. He has found his mojo back in the Mustang. Was always fast when I used to race with him in a couple of other leagues. And it's great to have him on board with us. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on this week. And it is kind of a puke car, but not as pukey as it was last time. It's definitely a lot of colours, but it looks much more tidy, I think, this time, I think. I don't know, I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Simon Bauer for STR Esports in P4 at the moment, on a much better lap this time. This will put him closer to the front. Let me reveal my secrets. There you go, that's the current time. So that's their time versus their first laps, or their best laps current. So you can see Thomas Nopek is already up again. Matt Whitburn's just coming out of the pits. Simon Bauer is up half a second. Paul Sadlowski up 0.6. Usually the second laps, especially when it's colder temperatures like this, they will be quicker. And Thomas Nopek does go to the top, 43.0. That is so close to a 42. Be interesting to see if anyone could top that. Simon and Matt Whitburn definitely have the pace to be able to do it. Don't count out Dan Watts either. But I tell you, someone who is struggling today, and it'll be interesting to see where he manages to finish, is this man, Sigurd Refsvik. Told us before the race started, or the quali started, that his screen had decided to die. Had to pull one out of the cupboard, which is extremely old, and doesn't have the resolution or the seating position or anything, because where it mounts on his rig compared to his old one, so it's out of kilter. He's not used to it. It'll be interesting to see how he does this week. All for fun, I'm sure. Refs is definitely looking for a much better result this week than he had previously. It'll be interesting to see where he finishes up. And Watts isn't on a very good lap this time. He's just started. He's done his best lap so far, up to P6, 43.4. He was doing 42s. Just like Thomas Nopek, a 42.5 now at the top. 42.5 at the top, ladies and gentlemen. This guy is absolutely romping away. Half a second is the gap to the drivers, between the top 2 drivers. So that is insane. Absolutely insane. Be interesting to see if that continues between now and the end of the race, end of quali, or can someone else find their way? Paul Sadlowski up into the P2 place, 43.0. Now that's a time that we were not expecting. Well, and I say that we should be expecting from this man, because he's been driving extremely well. Has a point to prove. Didn't have a very good race, number 2 or 1 at Laguna Seca last week, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye and see. No worries, Merits. Thank you very much, buddy, for joining us. But yeah, it'd be good to see if the 2 Mustangs here are going to be king of the track. Paul Sadlowski is only 3/10 back now. Only 3/10 back. He's just pulled another better lap in. Thomas Nopek's just gone off the track, so that's why he's showing yellow. And now back in the pits while he shows red. Judabao struggling actually in this one. Let's have a catch up with Judabao. He's not on a lap that I was expecting. Struggling in the McLaren's just done his best lap though, put up to P10, so he's at least in the line with some of the guys now in Pro. Brett Minnan, P15 at the moment for the final of the Pros. I think next season, Brett, to keep you competitive, I think we might move you to Silver, I think that'll give you a good chance of winning the Silver class. Struggling a little bit in the McLaren there with the tail end. But in the Golf livery, it's a very nice livery, that one, I'm not going to lie. I do like simple liveries. Once it just look, yeah, he's on 0 TC. He's a mad lad as well. So interesting to see. Dan Watts now finally gets it up into P3 and is on a much better lap so far. He's on 2/10 up, so this could put him on the front row. Matt Whitburn is pit Paul Sadlowski now by 0.05 of a second. Thomas Nopek is back out on track, going to do another one. He will have time to run one more lap. So it'll be interesting to see if he can extend his lead, or can the RTO trio of Matt Whitburn, Paul Sadlowski and Dan Watts chase him down. Refsvik has put it into P6, so that's a good result for him with the at the moment with the screen that he's got. So see if he can improve on this next lap. Just started his next lap. Was 5,000 slower between his fastest and his previous lap that he's just completed. So consistency is there at least. Simon Bauer for STR Esports still P5, and I think he's gone out again. I think let's just see how Dan finishes his lap. He is up a couple of tenths, but I tell you who else is Mr. Matt Whitburn. He's in sector 2 at the moment. We'll catch him in a minute. Dan has got a much better exit on to the main straight. Going to be closer to the front. Don't think it's going to be close enough. Will be P2, just over a tenth and a half is the gap. Now let's have a look at this man who's just gone purple, but he's just lost it as he came through turn number 11, rounding number 12 now, and still up, but he's not going to be up enough. He needs to find another tenth if he's going to do it. He's so close. This is going to be within the hundredths of a second, I guarantee it. If he gets a good exit on the final corner, this is going to be very, very close. I don't think it's going to be purple just yet, but it's going to be really, really close. Crosses the line. It's, yeah, 0.05 of a second, or 0.06 of a second. Told you it wasn't going to be far off. These two are going to be racing for the win with alongside Dan Watts. Paul Sadlowski's not going to be far off of it either. He's 2/10 down on his current lap. The checkered flag has flown, so these are the laps. So Matt did cross the line. No, Matt did not cross the line. So Matt has done his laps. Thomas Nopek does not improve. He was half a tenth down on that last lap, so he hasn't improved on this one. So it'll be interesting to see if he can do anything in the race, or if anyone can take his top spot away from him. Aiden Carter, as you can see, for Only Esports. I haven't even seen him so far in this quality. I do apologise, Aiden, but you're up into P8 at the moment. Ben Nergard ahead of him with Sigurd Restvik also in the pits now. Simon, so the top, apart from Dan Watts, everyone has boxed. So can Dan Watts manage to take P1? He's got to find 0.2 of a second nearly to take it. I don't think he's up on this lap. He's not showing green for me. So is he going to improve? Can he take... He needs a 10th just to beat Matt Whitburn. Crosses the line. Doesn't improve. Does this pretty much the exact same lap time. So very, very close. Tom Solis, though, for the Silvers. We missed some of these guys. We've got Tom Solis in the Silvers. Fabian Wenger is P1 in the Silvers. James Rawlins P3. But this man sticking it into P2. Tom Solis, twin brother of Dan Solis, who is on P1 for the AMS. So that's a great little quali for the brothers that be. So there we go. Let me just minimize that so you can see the timings on your screen. And across the line. Sorry. Matt Whitburn just crossed the line again, and he did his fastest lap, but he didn't improve. Although he matched his lap, I think. He matched his lap. So look at that timing. So we've got Refsvik and Refsvik and Ben have done exactly the same lap time, but because Ref's done it first, he gets fifth, and Ben gets sixth. That is so close. Simon Bauer only 200ths faster. Aiden Carter just over a tenth back. Then you got 500ths back to Grenes. Then you got Judah Bauer a couple of tenths further back than that. And then look at it. It is literally 10th, all the way down. So it'd be interesting to see how these guys get on in this race. bear with me one second. We have something new that I'd like to bring you at RTO. So, the grid walk, we have Thomas Nopek, who is leading the group away. Alongside him will be Matt Whitburn in the Honda, the 620 Honda from RTO Esports. So they lock out the front row. Row number 2, Dan Watts alongside Paul Sadlowski in the BMW. Both BMW drivers for RTO. One BMW driver, one Mustang driver, both for RTO Esports. Then we've got Simon Bauer and Sigurd Resvik, 2 BMWs on the back. The BMWs are a theme here in RTO, I'm not going to lie. There's many of them. But the Norwegian driver looking to try and improve. Alongside his countryman Ben Nergard, who has the position alongside him is Aidan Carter for Only Esports. Good to see those guys get involved. Again, this season, David Greness for Fear Nothing Moto is ahead of his teammate, Timothy Judabau, in the other sister car, Honda, and then McLaren. Then we've got Fabian Wenger, one of the nicest liveries we have in RTO Esports, 100%, alongside Tom Solis in the silver class. So those two will be going battling out for the race win. And then James Rawlins for SOP Esports will be sitting back in that Aston, knowing he's got great straight line speed and trying to fight off RTO Paul Whitburn. 373 McLaren is the next one along. Then you got Rasmus Abelstead for Fear Nothing Moto. Alongside him is Christoph Holzer in the blue Porsche, the number 60 Porsche, and behind them we've got Brent Minnan in the McLaren, who was, let's just say, having fun out there, shall we? Alongside Paul Cook in the Ferrari, for the wildcards, Ike Chews, and then Elshag Perry. A couple of Norwegian drivers in this league, so it's great to see. Daniel Solis, P21, and then Russ Brown, and then Brian Bond. So these are the AM drivers at the back. So let's see. Who do we think, ladies and gentlemen, is going to win this race in each class? Do we think Thomas Nopek can fight off Matt Whitburn? Dan Watts, is he going to see something in front of him and think, I'll just take that that first position place once they collide? Do we think the silver class of Tom Solis is going to be able to prevail from James Rawlins or Paul Whitburn in the RTO? And do we think Daniel Solis is just going to walk away, or can Russ Brown and Brian Bond do anything in the AMs? And then obviously don't forget, we've got Paul Cook and Ike Chews and Rasmus Abelstead as well inside the drivers on the grid. We've gone green at Barcelona. 60-minute race coming up, and the Honda has already struck it into the lead. Is he going to manage to hold it? Let's have a watch on Helicam as they come down into turn number 1. They're all now settling in 2 wide. No one's meant to be going 3 wide. They have had instructions not to do it, and the Mustang is going to muscle his way into the lead. Oh, and there's contact! And the front 2 are off. Dan Watts is saying, thank you very much, I'll take that. And once again, there is contact at the start of the race, and this time the RTO driver of Dan Watts is not involved and is able to be moving down the road, and it was nothing to do with his own teammate. He's able to continue and say, right, now we can settle into a rhythm. But Simon Bauer of STR Esports is definitely not going to be saying anything other than I want to win. I want to get in front of everybody, because he is seriously fast. Coming around turn number 5, we're going to have to look back a bit further. There's been a bit more contact. Paul Cook is up into P19 at the moment. I'll tell you what we will do, just so you guys can see what's going on. Bear with me one second. Position delta, so there you go. Oh wait, the tower's not on, is it? There we go. So now you can see all the movers at the start of the grid. So Dan Watts up 2 positions, Simon Bauer up 2, everyone up 2, in fact, all the way down to Christian Holzer, who's up 6 places for Christoph Holzer. And then you've got Thomas Nopek down 11 spots after that collision. So I'm sure Matt will be wondering what the hell went on there. And same for Thomas. That was a bit of a squeeze, I think, on the inside there, but I'm sure the race control will have a look at it. So the first lap is already complete. There is 60 minutes to race. You can see the sun is setting. It's a long way to go. Refsvik up to P4 after in fact, I think he's up to P3, isn't he? Oh, he is P4, sorry, P4 in the BMW, looking to try and make a charge on the STR Esports and make it a 1-2-3 for RTO at the front of the grid. Let's have a look a bit further back down now, and let's just see some of the silver drivers. Tom Solis is definitely up into P1, I believe, at the moment for... Yeah, he is for P1 for the... oh, no, wait, yes, he is. P1, sorry, for silvers at the moment. That is a great result for him at the start of this race. So Tom Solis from Christoph Holzer as well, who's also, like I said, he's moved up 6 places. And then there's a big gap back to Rasmus Abelstedt, who is also in the silvers. So Fear Nothing Moto, hopefully not getting caught up in too much of it, but I'll tell you, someone who's going to keep an eye on Thomas, because the pace he had, I'm sure he'll move his way back to the front of the grid. Personally, me, I would probably box and get the damage fixed, or maybe, I don't know, it's, mind you, your tyres will probably wear out by the end of the race here. It does get cooler, so you're not going to have the temperatures to worry about, but the pressures will drop as they move further into the race. So depending on how he can keep the pressures under control will depend on whether he can move forward in the race. How do we get further back? Paul Whitburn at the back of the grid. Something's happened to Paul. He's lost 9 places at the start of the grid. Same with Brent Minnan, who's also lost 5 places. And Fabian Wenger as well, who's also lost a couple of places, well, 8 actually. Yeah, keep an eye on. Oh, that's getting all very tight down there. And yeah, so we've got Brent Minnan, who is in the pros at the moment, looking to try and make his way back through the grid. Something's, like I say, has happened to Brent. Maybe got caught up at something at the start. Yeah, there was a few things going on. Hey Rusty, how's it going? George Dragonlord, well hello, how you doing? Sorry I missed some of the chats. How you doing, Subsy? Good to see you, mate. So lap number 2 is down, and yeah, there is a DRS second gap between Paul Sadlowski and Dan Watts. So let's go with that one. So you can see the live times at the top of the table. It's 0.2 of a second. It was when they crossed the line. The next lap, oh wait, that's not the right one. Sorry, I do apologise. Race gaps, that's what you want. That one. So you can see the difference in times at the between each driver. So Refsvik P4 at the moment, and has Aiden Carter. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, P4 at the moment. Ben Nerga behind him has Aiden Carter in the Onid Esports BMW chasing him down. These two are nose to tail. Ben struggling a little bit in the opening stages of this race. That's not the right one. That's the one we wanted. Like I say, this camera guy, he is a legend. Hanging on, he's running alongside the cars. His legs must look like a road runner. So we'll give him a rest, and we'll look over the back of the BMW with the Track Titan sponsorship on the back of the RTO car. I tell you, he's got a bit of understeer, I think, at the front of this one. The Onid car able to take a nice tighter line. Early shift to try and make it save the rear tyres. Up over the curb, using all the track, paid for all the game, as they say. But the RTO Beamer got a much better launch coming out of the final corner into the back straight. Now we're in the tow on the splitter cam for Onid Esports. He's not really gaining, is he? He's not getting much of a tow down there. So, and I tell you, someone who's lost a bit of time is Tigger Resvik. He was 0.3 back, so maybe made a mistake coming through the final chicane, and is now trying to chase him back down. So we've got some movers and shakers at the back. James Rawlins now moved up in front of Dan Solis. Dan Solis walking away with the AMS at the moment. He has 5 cars between him and Brian Bond, so all he needs to do is just keep it nice and steady on the grid, and you can see he's just getting out of the way of some of these faster drivers. Paul Cook up the inside of him now, on the left hand side, the Ferrari driver. And there you go, PC Sim Racing. So he's moved up another place, back into P16 overall. And again, Daniel Solis just getting out of the way of these silvers, knowing that these aren't his race. He just needs to finish the race. One of the most boring races ever is what he's after. He doesn't want to see people, he doesn't want to get involved with people, he just wants to race, and that's it. Just get his laps done. He just wants to do an hour around Barcelona, sightsee, and then get home again. So, Matt Whitburn trying to make his way back through the grid after the contact at turn 2 on lap 1. And we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on his pace. Thomas Norpak already up to P10, so he's clawed back a bit of the pace, but the front end damage on that Mustang is going to hamper him in a straight line, especially against the Ferrari ahead of him. And the Porsche isn't a slouch behind him either, so if he gets in the tow, Christoph Holzer might be looking at having a go at him, but he's lost a lot of time coming out of the chicane. Now Rasmus Abelstedt, is this position change in here for Silvers. Holzer not fighting that one too much, didn't want to move over. And Avelstead is now going to move into P2. Ooh, a little bit of a squeeze. And then, ooh, looks like an RTO is going to happen, is it? Is he going to be able to hold it? The Porsche had a really good shot around the outside, but no. Avelstead does a great job defending that. That was a really, really good little move, though. Try and surprise him around the outside. Had the racing line so he could carry a little bit more speed into turn number 1. I think he just overshot it a bit, and that compromised him into turn 2. And that meant that... the BMW driver was able just to say, nope, that's mine, thank you very much, and next. Eddie Carter's still all over the back of Ben Nergard. Now Refs has definitely caught up with... So Refs has got some pace here. Refs has some serious pace here. I think this new screen, he was telling us it was all bad. I think it was sandbagging. I think he took some sandbags off the back of that screen, and he is now chasing down P3. He's definitely managed to make up some time. After looking at the back of Nergard there as they were coming into the left-hander, just having a little peek just to let him know he was there. And Dan Watt still a second. I tell you, Paul Sadlowski doing a great job holding on to the back of him, doing a really, really sterling job. Oh, that's going to be very close. I tell you, ref's nearly pushing Simon through the final chicane there. It's going to be in a really good position here to try and get a run down the main straight. He's in the draft. You can see this. By the end of the straight, you'll see him closing, closing, closing. There we go. It's starting to happen now. Is the straight long enough, though? Is he going to have a little lunge going up the inside? He's having a look, and Simon did move across to try to defend it, so that's going to compromise him a little bit into turn 1. But again, the problem with it is there's nowhere to go on this bit. You can't really overtake on the outsider. It's such a long corner. You'd just be burning out your front left tyre, and it will be screaming in pain, saying, no thanks, please stop. I don't want any more. I don't want to do this anymore. So around turn number 4. Ref's keeping a really tight line. Now he's going to have to defend on the inside. And he's going to get a much better run coming out turn 5. He's going to be on the inside. And there we go. That's a great switchback. I told you, Ref's has got some really good pace. And is the STR driver going to squeeze him? And I think he's not. He's going to go side by side. And Ref's just gives him a little tap and says nope. But then lifts off a little bit. I don't think he wants to push him off the track like that. And the STR driver still side by side these guys. And now finally Bauer gets in front of Refsvik. But now he's going to have the racing line as they come back in to the tight left-hander. So is he going to try around the outside or another switch? No, so yeah, the STR driver just parks it on the inside curb, says nope, you're not going to have the switch back on me. And Refs once again all over the back. I know what it's like having this guy on your backside. It's not nice. He's so good at putting you where he wants you. And yeah, and there's a mistake again from the BMW ahead. And I tell you what, this is bringing Ben Nergard involved in all this, and Aidan Carter with him, and allowing the front two to get away. The fastest lap of the race, Dan Watts, a 43.165. Paul Sadlowski, literally 1/100th of a second slower. And here we go. This is it. This is for the movie. Go! Oh my word, that was a last lunge. Is he going to try around the outside? He gets a little bit squeezed again. Well, now the elbows are out, gloves are off. That was a hell of a move. Let's have a... Well, I want to try and cut back, but yeah, I'll tell you what, let's cut back and watch it. So coming out of the final corner, he gets a hell of a run. He's much closer this time. Then go to the inside, I think, at the last second. And yeah, and then the BMW just... No, he doesn't move. He just... it was just a very violent turn to the left-hand side, trying to keep as much speed going through turn 1. Watched me many times do that through there, so he's obviously trying to... Something he's seen before. Obviously me. That was a really, really good try, though, from Resvik. Still behind him, as you can see, as we cut back to the live pictures. And I tell you what, Simon's literally sitting there going, please go away. I just want to race. I don't want this anymore. I want P3. Can you just leave me to it? I don't want to race you anymore. So he's having a much better final sector, the RTO driver, over Bauer, who we are on board with. It's a great little livery, this. Yeah, he's struggling with understeer. He's struggling with understeer, Simon. And that's what's causing him to really, really get slow in the slower corners. And now we're looking back. Is he going to have a better run again this time, refs? I think he's going to think better of it this time. He's not going to go so violently to the left, I don't think. I think he took too long to decide where he was going to park the car. Oh, we are going to see it go. He's going to swing it up the inside, is he? He does. Finally makes that move. Oh, no, he doesn't. He goes wide and off the track. He's going to have to give that place back. And he does. He stays wide. He doesn't want to lose too much time, though, so he's stayed wide, kept the pace forward so he doesn't drop off the back. And I tell you what, also Lowski all over the back of Dan Watts. Dan's struggling. He said to me earlier on he might struggle with tyres during this race because he'll have to push really hard. And Paul is all over the back of him. So it's a race at the front for the podiums and for the final positions behind them as well in the pros. We'll check back on these guys in a second because we've got Fabian Wenger all over the back of Paul Cook at the moment as well. Wenger's doing much quicker laps, the two Ferrari drivers, Bavarian Sim Racer and Wenger. And is he going to manage to go around the outside into turn 5? He's thinking of it, but no, he's looking for a switchback, get a much better exit, up over the curbs. And Paul Whitburn following them, thinking if these two come a cropper, I can find another couple of places. Still 0.8 at the front, 0.4 behind is refs and from Simon Bauer, and Aidan Carter still 0.4 back from Ben Nergard as well, so still plenty to go on at the front. Alright, so he does manage to get him. Fabian Wenger does manage to make the move done, so that's him up another place. And now Paul Whitburn's looking pretty interested in this as well. Daniel Solis still leading the AMS, doing a great little drive, just keeping out of the way of everybody. Alshog Perry in the McLaren Era Racing team. Looking to see if he can move back up. He's faster than some of the guys ahead of him, so I'm expecting him to be up there. And Brian coming out of that corner again shows us why the Bentley doesn't like it. So it's as you were on the last lap. So there's still a line of stone. You can see the front two as they go through out of your shot. And then we've got Sigurd Refsvik still all over the back of Simon, getting his elbows out in this race. Hang on. And yep, Refs is now up the inside. He's going to make a move up the inside. Yes, that's it. It's all done. He's finally got that position from Simon Bauer, who gives him a flash to say good racing. And yeah, now Refs, can he do anything about it? You can see he's got much better front end on that beamer, trying to break the toe as they go down the back straight. And I think now Refs will be able to just try and make a little bit of a gap and work the next 44 minutes to try and close in the front two. 6 seconds he's been held up now. It was 2.5 seconds the gap from third to second when we jumped on board with these guys. Over the last 4 laps he's lost 3 seconds. That's how much the pace difference is at the moment between the two at the front and this group of cars from third to, I think that's third to 8th now. So there's 5 cars here, all squabbling. 6 cars actually, sorry. All squabbling now over the final podium position. So interesting to see how we get on. There was a penalty for Brent Minnan at the start, but he's now dropped out of the race. So we have 1 retirement from the race. And I'll just check and see if we've got anything else from race control, and I'll be back with you. So yeah, a couple of other incidents potentially going to be reviewed after the race, but yeah, we are back here racing. Aidan Carter still trying to chase down Ben Nergard, who's now looking at the back of Simon Bauer, who's already dropped 1.3 off the back of Sigurd Refsvik, who's caught by half a second on this lap to Paul Sadlowski, who has dropped off the back slightly to Dan Watts. I think Dan has survived that charge from the Mustang in the first part of this race. But Paul's driving so well recently again. It's really good to see. So it'll be interesting to see if he can really keep moving forward and see if he can keep the pressure on Dan. Maybe do an undercut or something like this. Dan's usually pretty good at cutting off those undercuts and making it difficult for anyone to find their way past. So we'll have to see. Paul Cook has got come a cropper, I think, or has had contact somewhere. Let's have a should we have a quick look. There's contact between him and Paul Whitburn, maybe, or either that or he goes off the track. One of the two. I think we're about to see it down into the left-hander at the end of the straight. Does cover the inside, and Paul tries to go around the outside. No, okay, maybe nothing. So I don't know what that was about, but yep, there we go. Back to the racing action we go. So back to the front, and refs still 5.5 back from Paul. So maybe not making as much of an inroad at the moment as we'd hoped. Aidan Carter, though, really all over the back of Ben. Ben doing a really good job to try and keep him off, keep him behind him. But these guys, the two Fear Nothing Motors, Timothy Judabao and David Grenes, really are doing a good job. They're actually lapping at the same speed as these guys. Ben, you can see there in the foreground, really having to try and defend that inside line as they come into the left-hander there. But he's, yeah, having to defend quite hard into turn 11. And these guys are genuinely catching them. And it is because they're fighting as well. It's not just, it's not, you got to save tyres here. You can't push for the entire stint. Because even when you're going to change tyres halfway through, your tyre drop-off will be more than just saving a tenth or two a lap. You know, you may as well just save a tenth or two a lap, lift a little bit earlier for corners, don't carry so much speed through some of the fast ones. But when you've got a car right behind you like this, you have to push on. And you can see here now, Aidan's all over the back of him, and you can see he's catching, and Ben does actually have to finally look on the inside. You can see him still defending on the inside, and he does really well, parks on the apex. The only BMW, they're doing a really good job not to make any contact. Clean as always from Mr. Carter. That's what we like to see. And these two racing really hard. Is Ben going to defend? See, my only issue with defending like that, you're only defending halfway in the road. You're still leaving a massive door on the inside. And you can't move once you've moved once, don't forget. Once you move, that's it. You can move back over, but you've got to leave a car in a bit's width on the outside to allow for an overtake. And yeah, ref still... Well, it's still closing a little bit, but I think it's more that Paul has dropped off the back. Yeah, Paul's dropped off the back of Dan at the moment. So last lap from Dan, 43.55, and from Paul, 43.7. Refs, 43.8. One second, we're just hearing from race control. Simon Bauer has a 10-second, well, it'll be a 5-second time penalty for track limits. So it's it will come up. It won't be on your screen, but he has track limits. He had a drive-through, so that means he now has a 5-second time penalty. Unfortunately, on his screen it will say 10. There was an error, but it is only 5 seconds. So 5 seconds will be removed from his time at the end of the race as well. So yeah. So yeah, still fighting for P5, and once again, Judabao has just dropped off the back of these guys, but we'll keep an eye on how they're going. So leading at the Silvers, Tom Solis doing a really good job. His twin brother Daniel Solis is leading the AMS at P17 there, the number 23 motor. In let's just catch you up with him. There we go, in the McLaren. So these guys doing a great job. The brothers both got victory last week, and looks like they're going to follow it up again this week. A really good job from them. Next is Rasmus Abelstedt, who is in P2 at the moment. So yeah, he's in P2 at the moment, being chased down by Christoph Holzer. So this is a good little battle coming up for the second step of the podium. Which one's going to come out on top? Is it going to be the Porsche or the BMW from the Fear Nothing Moto team? Aiden Carter still 0.3 back at the moment. I don't want to miss this. They are coming down the main straight. This is normally a place for overtakes. We saw him try it a couple of laps ago. That's not the right one. We want to see that one. I'll tell you what, we'll look. No, that's not the right one either. There we go. I'll get the seat. The cameraman is Fernando Alonso. Maybe another win for both Solis. Yeah, maybe Sub-Zero. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they've got a really good job here. They just need to keep it nice and clean. So 9.2 is the gap between them as well. So there you go. So definitely a good chance there. Carter, literally, I think if Carter gets any closer, he's going to be mating with Ben. He is that close with him. He really needs to try and maybe just send one up the inside. And see if we can do anything about the STR ahead. So the gap's still staying around the same for the second and third place gap. So, but it's dropped off Paul Sadlowski at the moment from Dan Watts. Dan Watts on that last lap nearly 3/10 quicker than Paul Sadlowski. Oh, what's going on there? What has happened there? He's now going to be very, very close, I think, to Rhett. Well, he's not lost as much time as I thought he would there. What has happened there? So Thomas Nopek has been in the pits. Fabian Wenger has been in the pits as well. And Matt Whitburn, who is in the pits currently, actually. So this will be interesting. He's going to go a lap down. James Rawlins also in the pits. He's just come out of the pits now. Matt, I think, Matt's fixed damage, so that's why he's going to be behind Thomas Nopek. Thomas Nopek also fixed damage. 23 seconds of damage he had by the looks of that, and that is a very fixed Mustang, so keep an eye on where he finishes up towards the end of the race. And Matt Whitburn just come out of the pits now, behind this battle for 5th place. Aiden Carr still looking at the back of Ben Nergard. He's going to be able to read every single sponsor back to anyone who asked him at the end of this race. He's going to literally shut his eyes when he goes to sleep tonight and just see the back end of a Beamer. That's all he's going to see. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye. Oh, it's going to be very close there. As we look over the back of the RTO number 127. David Greness has followed these guys through as well. So you can see now it's very, very close now. So if you look back from the Onid Esports BMW as well, now you can see that's David Greness, who's all over these guys as well. This is for position. So doing a great little job. Oh, he's going to have a look at the inside, is he? Nope. Ben wasn't falling for that one. He'd just say, but I tell you what, it did. What he did, it's pushed him wide, and now it's going to be side by side. This is going to be difficult to hold. Is he going to try and do it around the outside? It's really, really, really difficult to do it around the outside here. You've got to carry so much speed. You need like a tyre advantage to do it, and he doesn't. Ben holds on for one more corner, but now look how close Greness is now to the back of these guys. And when you're in that 3rd place of the group, you are in the pole position for this, because anything happens ahead, you can pick up all the pieces. The guy at the front is the second one in the best place, because he just needs to look at one person behind him, yet the guy in the middle, so Aiden Carter, has to watch every single person he can to try and find where they're going to be placing their car, and when he can overtake someone as well. So the guy ahead of him, he needs to make sure he's, and you can see there the Honda got much better run, but I had to check up because the Beamer was right in the way. So round number 3 they go, and watching all this, I'm sure just wanting a bit of fun because he's so far ahead in the league, is Matt Whitburn in the RTO Rainbow car, as we're calling it from now on. Pretty in pink. Obi-Wan Kenobi, go Danny, go! Oh, we call who's Danny? Danny, are we on about Danny? Danny Watts. He's in P1, being chased down by Paul Sadlowski. 4.8 back now, so there's a big gap. Refs has really caught him. 2.9 now is the gap. Obviously, that was after all that that mistake he made. And then comes the final podium. Well, the final podium steps refs in the foreground, the bottom of your screen there. And then the battle for 4th place is for between Ben, Aiden, and David Graness. And Matt Whitburn, who is in the Honda in the 4th car in this chain, is actually a lap down at the moment. So he's been in the pits, got involved in contact in turn number 2. Managed to get it on P2 for the on the grid, but unfortunately elbows were out between the two drivers at the start. And there you go. Aiden has decided that's enough. I want an early stop, do a quick in and quick out. He manages to get it slowed down nicely. So Ben Nergard does manage to take... he's going to do another lap, so he will have slightly fresher tyres coming towards the end of the race. It just depends on the pace he can do now. Now he can just concentrate and look forward. He's got a bit of a gap between him and the Finnath and Moto Honda, so he can just concentrate on moving forward and just keep his try and get his lap times down. Paul Whitburn 0.8 back from Ike, and Ike does you just see him there dropping into the pit lane for the UFP Racing team. Gets it stopped nicely. Any penalties coming in yet from the for the pit stops at all from race control? Nothing. Oh, excellent. That's good. Excellent. So nothing yet. That's really good to see. So Dan Solis still leading the AMs, doing a really, really good job. We have Brian Bond in the Honda. In the Bentley. Not in the Honda. Don't ignore me. And apparently just didn't like that polystyrene board. Decided that was it. Yes, Sierra John. Yes, it's the two brothers. They're both winning both in the lead at the moment of their respective classes. So they got a win last week each in the same race, and they're looking like they're doing the same thing again. Aiden Carter coming. Oh, that was a yellow flag. Oh no, it's because he's coming out of the pits. So ignore that. That's I don't know why it does that. When you're coming out of the pits, it shows a yellow flag. Strange. But yeah, there we go. Where is Russ Brown? There he is. P11. Oh no, wait. P12 at the moment. Doing a good job for the Tic Tac Badger Racing. I do like that livery. A very, very good livery. Second nicest sounding car in the game. This one, the Aston Martin. Excuse me if I'm a sucker for a V8 though. So Dan Watts is also in the pits now. This is the one we want to watch though. Ben Nergard, Refsik is also in the pits. Paul Sadlowski in the pits. Who's going to get a better pit stop? Oh, this is interesting. Ben's got one right at the end. So Ben's got a good stop there. So we're looking for this man, Aiden Carter, coming through the final few sector now. This is going to be close, I'll tell you now. This is going to be very, very close. 25 seconds they got to stay stopped for. Aiden Carter, 32.7. To give you an idea of Simon Bauer, 37.3. This was a very, very quick stop. In fact, it's the quickest one we've had. 32.7. I'm wondering if he didn't take tyres. Everyone else is about 4 or 5 seconds slower than him. So I'm wondering, did he take tyres? Let's find out. Dan Watts is at the end of the pit lane. Paul Sadlowski's at the end of the pit lane. Refsvik also at the end of the pit lane. Ben Nergard's just coming out now. This is going to be so close. Has he got him? Oh my word! This is going to be insane. He's just managed to get him on the outlap. He has. So there you go. So that quicker stop has managed to get him out in front of him. But now Ben Nergard has got all over the back of him the STR BMW of Simon Bauer. So the guy who was behind for so long sorry, no, that was refs behind him. He has now jumped ahead of Simon Bauer. So both these drivers have now made their stops, and both have managed to make a couple of positions there. So that's interesting. But the cold tyres on the Beamer of the RTO driver against the warmer tyres for the STR one. Interesting. Very interesting to see. And I think now the tyres are just they should just starting to warm up here. It does take a bit longer to warm up because they're now at 8 o'clock at night, don't forget. We should be nearly at dark when they finish this race. So yeah, he's just going to have to keep it just for a lap or two. But Aiden Carter is now able to stretch those legs to see if he can manage to pull in that gap. Refs is only 1.6 back now from Paul Sadlowski in the Mustang. So this is blue on blue, as we call it. the RTO team drivers once again fighting it out at the front. I think it would have been a different story if nothing had happened at the front with Thomas Knopek and Matt Whitburn, although those two would have been all over each other as well. So, right, we'll have to keep an eye on this now because Simon Bauer is all over the back of Ben Nergo. He's going to have such a better run coming out of the final corner. Ben is going to have nothing. I would not defend this. I would stay on the outside and hope that I could sling it down the outside into turn 1. If not, if he covers it off and he's past me, oh, I mean, that was... I mean, if you want any more of a draft, it's going to be called bump. And this time the STR is he going to manage to get it stopped in time? I think he's going to go wide. Ben's going to have a much better turn through number 2, but I think Bauer has just managed to keep that place. He has. So now Ben has lost 2 places in the pit stops. He'll be kicking himself. But I'm just wondering, Ben's stop time 34.9. Simon Bauer 37. Aiden Carter 32. So I'm wondering if did they take? I think they've all taken tyres. I think they've all taken tyres. The lap times are starting to come in now, and they're back to the low 43s. So yeah, I'm expecting them to because they've all taken tyres. I think that's it. They'll continue now to the end. See me, I don't know why, but I just like to go one more lap. It's in the process of getting my. Oh, Dreamman, don't be apologising when it's something like that, bro. Just keep going, man. Paul and Matt Whitburn, but no, they're father and son. Paul is the father of Matt. Daddy Paul, we call him. So yeah, up into P2 at the moment, but obviously just making his pit stop. David Greness as well is also in the pits. This will be an interesting one. Don't forget, he was all over the back of that group as well. So we'll have to see where he's going to come out. So let's have a look and see where these guys are at the moment. They're coming through the final chicane now. So you've got Onid, STR, RTO in that order. And Judabao was caught up. I said Judabao's had a really good pit stop, so it's going to be interesting to see. And now he's out the end of the pit lane. Who's going to be the one looking for this one? This is the group. He has jumped 1, maybe 2 if he can get it into the first corner well. He has. The STR BMW goes really deep. And that's it. So, yeah, David Greness done a great job in the pit stops. One of the fastest pit stop times we've seen. And now moves himself up into P5. Great pit stop from the Fear Nothing Moto team. Really, really good. Both of these guys have moved forward. Judabao is going to be right on the back of these guys as well. So for the wild card. So it'll be interesting to see now if anyone can change those positions back. Paul Sadlowski's still off the back of Dan Watts. We haven't seen much of Dan. Dan the man at the front. As I said at the start, he was hoping for some interesting movement from the guys ahead of him. It happened. Picked up the lead of the race and then just disappeared as he normally does when he's in a race. So we'll keep an eye on that. Thomas Knopek, P12 at the moment, all over the back of James Rawlins. Thomas Knopek started P1 in this race but was caught up in that first lap incident, first or second corner incident, and is doing a recovery drive for the final, well, for this race. And I believe next week he is with us as well, so we'll see more of the Mustang at Zandvoort. And the Aston Martin of the SOP, James Rawlins, doing everything he can to try and fight that off. Fabian Wenger behind him is looking to try and move up into the podium places, actually. So this is, so there we go. So the SOP car that you're seeing now fighting Fabian Wenger for the final podium spot on Silvers. James Rawlins SOP, we know him really well at RTO, really good driver. So but Fabian Wenger's shown so much pace since he joined RTO, and that's a little bit deep, so it's going to compromise him on the second part. Fabian Wenger's going to have a really good run on him, but the Aston Martin's got so much straight line speed. It'll be interesting to see if the Ferrari can tuck in, use its aerodynamic advantage, and see if he can pull out and have a nice run into turn 1. He's already all over the back of him. You can see this is going to be really close going into turn 1. Watch, sit back and watch this one, ladies and gentlemen. Moves out to the inside. James Rawlins not really defending that. Looking to try and take a good run into the first corner, which you can do here. If they're not really alongside you, or not going to be really alongside you, you can just take the racing line and get a much better entrance and carry the speed into turn 2 and 3, which he has done, and survived another lap in P3. So we'll keep an eye here. David Greness is now in front of Simon Bauer. So what's going on here? So Simon Bauer's just dropped another place. In fact, hang on a minute. Wait a minute. No, that was... Yeah, I thought... Wait, I thought he was ahead of them anyway. But Ben Nergar's managed to get back ahead. And yeah, Grenes is now chasing down the RTO driver again. So yeah, I thought he was already ahead of him. So something's gone on there, I think. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Dreamman, how you doing? Yes, we need to take a break. Yeah, no worries, mate. Just do what you need to do, bro. Just let us know if you're alright. Where's Daniel and Mitchell? Which Daniel and which Mitchell? Phil Mitchell has pulled out of the season. And same with Mr. Zlatnik. I had to think of who you meant then for a second. We've got so many Daniels. But yeah, they've both pulled out of the season. Besley. So for the final podium places in silver, Tom Solis has got Abelstead from Fear Nothing Moto behind him. 5.5 is the gap, as you can see on your screen. So you need to keep an eye on that one, but that's going to be closer towards the end of the race. What's the lap times on that one? Last lap around, Tom was a little bit quicker actually, so that's good. So Tom has actually just pulled a tenth or so away from I say good, that's good for him, for Tom Solis against the Fear Nothing Moto driver. Simon Bauer still all over the back of Dave Grenes as well. We'll have to keep an eye on that one because this is a good scrap as well. Let me just... Was there a move there? No, there wasn't. So... Wait, what? What just happened there? Oh, wow. Jeez. Simon Bauer just disappeared and then reappeared. Oh, my word. I think he's got problems. He's just pulled off the track slightly there. I think he's got internet issues. Yeah, black and orange spot usually means there's an internet issue there. So Simon Bauer dropping down the order now. That usually means they got damaged, but I think it also can happen when you've got... obviously, because of the lag, they've made contact somewhere, and it's not registered in-game because he wasn't there. But it has registered in-game because he was there, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So now we've got the Fear Nothing Motos of Grenes and Judabao 6th and 7th. Chasing down Ben Nergard, who is dropping off the back of Aiden Carter. Once Aiden Carter got free, he really does have some pace. And he's trying to chase down Sigurd Resvik, who is still the same gap he was behind the mad Mustang of Paul Sadlowski, doing another sterling job in that car. Back to form, I think this one is. And I tell you what, Ref's doing a great job with a different screen that he's got at the moment as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Russ Brown is now ahead of his friend Brian in the Bentley, and in fact they're ahead of the owner driver of Aiden Carter, so they need to move out of the way as the leaders start to come through. Brian, you're still accelerating through the corner. Just let the car roll, bro. I keep telling you this, mate. And Matt Whitburn is back in the pits and I think has left the server. So that is Matt's race done. Another retirement on the race today. But his father Paul is still going at P16. And the grid is just spread out. We tend to get a little bit of a lull through the middle of a race, but then people suddenly start catching, and towards the end of the race people start having tyres go off and mistakes being made. It's, you know, an hour's racing really does take a lot of concentration. And obviously the other thing now, because it's starting, you can see it's starting to really darken now, who's got their tyre pressures right? Because that'll be the change, that'll be the difference between winning the race or between finding another place or losing a race. So you can really mess up your tyre pressures, and then the curbs here can, when you start getting low pressures and you start hitting some of the curbs, you end up damaging the tyres and you have to really protect against punches. And Paul Whitburn getting really sideways through turn number 10, Nissan corner. So Fabian Wenger still behind James Rawlins. We'll keep an eye on this little battle. This is probably the closest battle at the moment on the track, so we'll keep an eye on this one. Paul Cook actually has just got close to Ike Choose as well, so we'll keep an eye on this one. Ike doing a really good job in the Porsche for the wildcards. P14 overall. This is for wildcard on wildcard, guys. Is the Ferrari driver gonna manage to pull a nice move into turn number 1? He's really close, and the Porsche just defends a little bit early there, but it's going to cost him into turn 2. And the Ferrari's going to get a much better run into turn 3 as well. That's the thing. You compromise one corner, it compromises you through the rest of the section in the first sector. And the Porsche taking a nice tight line. This is going to be a really good chance for a nice swing up the inside, is it? Nope. Once again, Paul Cook doing really clean driving. Not just sending it from miles back. Really like to see this. And so these two having a really good battle. Knowing that it's for a bit of fun. Paul Cook leading the wildcard series at the moment. And although Grenes is now really going to close a little bit of a gap, although he is P2 this race, so yeah, Grenes is Grenes is actually the wildcard driver. Sorry, my bad. Judabao is the pro driver. I keep getting that two mixed up. And the problem with it is I can't actually change. I wanted to put these guys as pro-am, so they would have their own card, but they don't, which is a shame. I can't get it to switch. So yeah. Anyway, Paul Cook, Ike is also in the wildcard, so. These guys having a really good scrap. Paul Whitburn coming up against them as well. So he'll be looking to see if he can move forward through these guys and not get caught up in anything. He's trying to chase down James Rawlins, who's about 8 seconds up the road. Another Ferrari's got another good run. The Porsche launches off corners though with that rear engine setup. I know it's a shame, Wesley, that they've pulled out, but it's for personal reasons, so that's it's a shame. But hopefully next season we'll see them back. Round turn number 3. Oh, Ferrari's getting really wide, really trying to push now. Paul Cook really was trying to push it a little bit there to see if he can. See if he could get up the order, but couldn't quite make it stick. What else have we got here? Hang on, let me see if we can. They've all taken your pit stops, you can see. Pit stop length, there you go. So there's your pit stop lengths. The Thomas Nopek, 80 seconds. That's because obviously he had serious damage. P10 at the moment, so moving his way back closer to the guys at the front. 6.6 behind Tom Solis, and then he has another 9.7 to the back of the pros. I think that's going to be really tough to try and make back up into the pros after that accident. And here we go, a little move, is it? Oh, that's a bit of a send there from Paul. And well, Paul on Paul as well. Paul Cook from Paul Whitburn. He's like, play nice, guys, play nice. We're friends. Name friends. And he's just dropped off the back there because of the attack from Paul Whitburn, so he's now trying to make his way back to the Porsche. So this is it's just dead for a minute. So we'll just keep an eye on that gap for a second. There's still a good scrap between these three drivers, so we'll check in with them in a minute. Ref's not able to do anything on Paul Sadlowski. 1.8 is the gap. I think it might be a little bit closer on this lap. I think Paul might have made another mistake there. Judabao trying to chase down Grenes. There's no team orders allowed in RTO, so even though these two are driving in the same team, I don't want to see Grenes moving out of the way for Judabao to take the place and then pop himself in the middle, because yeah, they have to fight, basically. You can come here as teams, of course, you're more than welcome, but we don't want to see teams ganging up, because you end up with, for now example, the STR driver is a lone STR car, so he's at a disadvantage at that point, so that's not fair. So unless you're going to come in with two teams, two drivers per team, every driver for themselves. And Barcelona in the background. It's starting to get really close to nighttime now. We don't usually run nighttime races here at RTO because the liveries tend to disappear, but I thought we'll do a bit of a change. We'll have a dusk race, as we say. And again, that group of Paul Cook and that is still fighting nice and hard. Ike is still ahead of Paul Cook by 0.3, so we'll just cut to that in a second, but I want to see if Judabao can hold off because that was down the straight, Paul Cook and Ike. I just want to see if... Oh, Jude's got a bit deep, because this is for position, don't forget, in the pros. Simon Bauer, just to give a heads up on Simon. Simon's usually one of the fastest drivers in ACC, hence why he races for STR, but has raced a lot more iRacing recently and doesn't do much ACC. So for him to come and do ACC with us, it's really kind of him to join us back on the grid, and it's really good to see him. I hope he's enjoyed the races he's been able to make. But that's why you're seeing the Beamer a little bit off pace with behind at the hands of Simon Bauer. So we'll keep an eye on this. What we'll do is we'll be able to see this as they go down the straight. 0.4 between Paul and Ike, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one as they go down the straight. So we'll see, does he get a good exit on the end of the off the back of the chicane? Oh, the McLaren does twitch around a little, so that's going to make the Beamer a little bit more interesting than it would have been, because he was a bit too far back, but you can see how quickly he's gaining on the McLaren. And yeah, he's already on the back of it. He's going to make a move going into turn number 1, is he? Nicely up the inside, and Judabal does a really good job of not just turning in on him, being really clean. So once again, great to see these guys racing really fair. And Simon up into P7. That was for class change as well. So we'll see how he goes. Now let's have a look at these guys coming onto the main straight. These crazy gang of Paul Cook trying to chase down Ike in the Porsche. Is he going to have a look over at the inside? No, he's not. Is anyone up the inside of him? No, he's not. So these three having a really good scrap, really good fight. And Paul Whitburn taking the correct line there, but getting a little bit squirrely as he came off the curb. But oh, it's going to be very... You don't want to take any curb on the inside there. He did really well to gather that back up. As we ride on board, you can see in the mirror, the digital mirror in the centre of the console there, oh, that's gone really wide. What has happened? I got on the curb and lost it on the inside, and Paul Whitburn has sent it up the inside. And and then he got on the curb again. I think the Porsche's rear tyres have said, no, I can't do that anymore. I've got a little bit worn and a little bit hot, and that's now released Paul Cook, and is now up into P14. So there you go. James Rawlins and Fabian Wenger, they're still scrapping ahead of these guys. And Paul Cook catch these in the final 10 minutes of this race. Fabian Wenger, that is such a good looking... Look at the SpongeBob on the back. A really good looking Ferrari. We do like that. Looking really good under the darkness as well, with the lights glaring off the track. This guy's doing a great job. And James Rawlins doing a really, really sterling job holding that P3 in silvers today in the Aston Martin. Tom Solis, though, and we're going to have a driver of the day. Is it going to be Tom Solis? Or do we give it to Daniel Solis? One of the Solises, I think, are going to be very close to a driver of the day. But I tell you what, bear with me. We don't normally do that. Oh, we can't do it, can we? Because I'm on blinking YouTube. I used to do it in Twitch. I used to do driver of the day votes, and it was quite good. Got to sort the kids. Sorry for that. No, it's all right. No worries, Matt. No worries, buddy. So, I mean, he knows he's pretty much got the championship wrapped up. I mean, he needs a good couple of results at Zandvoort. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's 60 points for a win here. So, there is plenty to play for. There's 60 for a win. And then its second is 50 and third is 42. So there is a big gap if you don't get a good result. And Fabian Wenger all over there. See, I told you the tyres are starting to... I think the tyres are starting to go a little bit on the Aston Martin. Oh, not that one. The guy's running alongside the car again. SimGrid all over the back of this Aston, the SOP Esports. We are on SimGrid. If you ever want to come racing with us, then please feel free to do so. Come and like us. Don't forget to first off like and subscribe on this channel. There's races on Thursday, the final round next Thursday from Zandvoort. 2 25-minute sprints is how we're calling it, and it's going to be a little bit damp. So expect a bit of chaos for that race. I hope you guys will come and join us. It's going to be interesting. Still plenty to play for in all 3 championships now that Matt has retired from this race. And Simon Bauer has... Something's happened to Simon here. What is going on here? This is interesting. So the 2 FN Esports guys are... he's managed to move up past him, one of them, and now he's trying to chase down Grenes. And it's like a bit of a gang up. He needs to get his lights on. Can you put in the chat... So, yeah, the lights aren't on, so we're just telling the race steward that he needs to put them on. Although, I don't know. It may be just a glitch. You might have to turn them off and on again to get them to work and show for the rest of the string, because don't forget he did disappear and then reappear. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. To be honest with you, I think he's got them on, but yeah, we'll just try it anyway. We'll see what he does. He might flash them and get them to work. So down the back straight, they've managed to move. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he has them on now. I think he had to cycle them. And he's on the back of the Honda. Honda defends on the inside. Now he looks to go around the outside into turn number 1. This is going to be a hell of a move. This is a Simon Bauer move. And as he made his stick, he holds the inside line. Then there's a bit of contact as they move into turn 3. Rubbin is racing. And the elbows were out. Paintwork was exchanged. But Simon Bauer moves up. But it's not over yet. The Honda is all over the back of him as they turn up into turn number 4. Is he going to manage to make anything move? No, he doesn't. And oh, he goes really deep. He does go really deep, but the Honda wasn't close enough to make anything of it. And he does look up the inside again, but again, not close enough in the Honda. So now his teammate, Judah Bell, all over the back of him. Is there going to be... I hope there's no team orders. It's not allowed. It doesn't really matter. It's not for position in class, but he does need to chase after Simon Bauer in the BMW if he wants to have any chance of finishing in the top 6. So Refs is actually now a second behind Paul Sadlowski, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Fabian Wenger still 0.5 back from James Rawlins. These guys are having a good little scrap at the end of the race here. 5 minutes and a bit to go. And they're still having a really good scrap here in the final parts of the race. James Rawlins, though, is very difficult to fluster him. Very, very experienced sim racer, and races for one of the better teams in esports, in my opinion. SOP, our friends over at SOP. Yes, I am a bit biased, but we do get on with our friends and over at SOP Motorsports. Again, if you haven't found them, go find them on SimGrid. They do a lot of iRacing. They do some NASCAR in iRacing, which I must admit I think I might attempt for a season, because I do like my NASCAR. So I might have to get involved and come and do some... They're making a left turn! And see how they get on in that one. 4 minutes 20 to go. Aston's got the legs on that final corner. Wenger needs to find a way to get through that chicane a bit better and stick to the back of the Aston, because once he's on the back of the Aston, he'll have a bit more pace down the main straight. You can see him closing all the way down in the toe. So he needs to just try and find a better exit on the final few corners. Final couple of laps to see if he can make that move stick. Right, back to the front. This is how close it is now for P2. Who's going to finish in second place? Is it going to be Paul Sadlowski in the yellow and white Mustang for RTO, or the blue and white BMW with the glowing red exhaust pipe on the Beamer? That does look really good, and the same on the sides there on the Aston. It does look really good. The one thing I love when you're actually watching the Beamer, when you see the shots from the back looking into the front, you can see the exhaust pipe. Oh, and the Mustang has made a mistake. So this is now the Beamer is going to have a chance. Refs is going to move up into P2, is he? I mean, the legs on that Mustang, I mean, he's stretching them. Is he going to take a wider line on the way in? Is he going to be able to go around the outside? They do stay together. They do give each other space. Oh, and there's a bit of contact. Both of them. I think there was contact, was there? Yes, there was contact between the two, and I think ref shut the door thinking that the Mustang was going to not be there, and Paul kept his nose there and was like, no, I am still here. So no love lost between the two teammates. They do love each other, really, I promise. So that's a really good little scrap for P2. We'll come back to that in 1 second, because we've got Paul Whitburn, who's going to come onto the final straight. No, the main straight, sorry, all over the back of Paul Cook. So Paul on Paul, and he's got a much better exit this time. This is really good driving from Whitburn. Is he going to manage to move out of the slipstream down the straight? Paul's looking to try and break the toe already. He knows he's under pressure. This isn't for position on class, it's just on the track, so they're just having a bit of fun. And the Ferrari does move. He half defends. He does half defend, but keeps him there on the inside. Is he going to have the pace on the outside to go through? No. Back to gets off the brakes, gets the job done, and moves up into P14. Now can he stretch his legs and move away from the Ferrari? Ike 2's who's still on he's still trying to get forward again, but I think he's really did lose a lot of time. His lap times have dropped off by over a second compared to the guys ahead of him, so definitely lost tyres in that middle part of the race. Maybe put on a wrong set. I wonder if he's put on a quali set or something. But Paul Cook hasn't given this up yet. Still over the back of Whitburn. Can he stick with him throughout the lap and then maybe do a roll reversal into turn number 1? I think the leader has crossed the line, has he? Yeah, so he's crossed the line, so we've got one more lap after this one. Yeah, he should have one more lap after this one, shouldn't he? I will check in a second. I'll just keep an eye on where Dan is, so we don't miss it in case he does cross the line. And it is the end of the race, so I don't want to be doing that this time. For once, the stream has gone well. Hey, Rusty. How you doing? Makes a change. We didn't get as many viewers this time, probably because I ballsed it up so badly in the last couple of ones. Alright, so can the Ferrari repay the McLaren into turn number 1? He's a little bit further back this time. Again, McLaren gets a better exit. It looks like Ferraris are struggling at that final chicane. Is he going to manage to do anything into the first corner? I don't think he does. Paul Whitburn, Paul W, has stretched his legs a little bit too much for the Ferrari. And there we go. So, Dan Watts, yeah, there will be another lap. He is, unless he decides to stop on the grid. But there will be one more to go. Yeah, I'm not too bad, Rusty. Good to see you in the chat. Thanks for coming in. Been a good race, this one. So, one to go from Dan Watts. Led from start, well, not start to finish, from turn 3 to finish. With a very nice race as we sit on board. There's no one else really fighting. We don't normally do this, but we're going to sit on board for a lap of the final lap with Dan. Get it over the curb nicely, keeping it in 3rd gear. Get it to the middle of the track. Just let the car coast through here. Don't want to apply too much power. Don't want to settle the car. Run it out to the exit. Then you don't get the tyres so hot. Use all the curb and some on the left-hand side. And it's sort of a double apex here. You sort of run it a little bit wide and then tuck back in again, and then you stay in the middle of the track. Get it over to the right hand side, braking downhill, so you have to brake a little bit earlier than you think. It's a late apex here on the inside. Run it out to the curb on the outside. See the correction from Dan just behind the timing tower. Is he going to hook it up over the curb? He does. Over both curbs. Told you that's the faster way. And you don't want to touch the inside curb here because it unsettles the car. It's sort of off camber as well. And then you crest the hill so the car goes light, so it always wants to go wide. Nice little braking zone. He's got Dan Solis ahead of him in the McLaren, the AM driver who's going to win for AMS. Does he want to let Dan go through? And then the Dans can cross the line together. Oh, Dan, don't push it. Yeah, there you go. So now he'll finish. So Dan Solis will win the AMS. So that's a great job from Dan. Paul Cook is all over the back of Paul Whitburn again, so we'll have to chase that up again in a second. But across the line for Dan Watts, wins round number 5. And that's really going to put him towards the front of the grid. We're going to have Sigurd Resvik, who's going to beat Paul Sedlowski. He did get that job done and managed to stick ahead of Paul Sedlowski, doing a great job there. Fabian Wenger all over the back of Rawlins, and Paul Cook all over the back of Paul Whitburn. So this is not over yet. Who is going to get that P3 in silvers? Is it going to be Fabian Wenger, or is Rawlins going to be able to hold on? He's just gone really wide, nearly into the gravel there, and he's going to get a good... This is all he needs to do now, is just park the car in the right places through here. Doesn't need to push it too hard. You can tell he's under a little bit of pressure because he has been a bit cautious, and Wenger is all over the back of him and thinking, I really want that place, can you please give it to me? If I ask nicely. Fireworks going off in the background celebrating Dan Watt's win in the pros, but who is going to take it in the silvers? It looks like the Aston is going to get another good run out of the final corner. He does. James Rawlins gets it in the silvers, but this man has won it. Tom Solis from Rasmus Abelstead, and then James Rawlins in P3. Well done to you guys. Fabian Wenger P4. Paul Whitburn's going to cross it in P5 ahead of Paul Cook, who comes across for the wildcards in P number 2. Ike 2's P number 3. Tyres just went from him in the rear, at the rears there. Maybe took a wrong set of tyres in the pit stop, if he did take tyres in the pit stop. And then Russ Brown is going to finish P2, and Brian Bond is going to come around and finish P3 for the AMs. Well done to you guys. Really, really good work. Really great to see. And so yeah, that's what we're all here for, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're all here for. Nice bit of racing. So as you can see, we are nearly all the way through season number 8. One more to go. Zandvoort is the place we will greet you from next week, and it is going to be a nice sweat track. 2 times 25-minute races. We'll wait you for that race, or for that round 6. So come and join us. There's still plenty to play for in round number 6, and for the rest of the title, for all 3 categories. The wildcards is pretty much the only one that I would say is pretty much wrapped up and done and dusted. I will be back with you next week, same time, same place. If you haven't already, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Thank you, Obi John Kenobi. You have just done that one. Great job. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Share the channel with your friends. If you've got any friends out there that do sim racing, please come and join us. You're more than welcome to come and get involved with us here at RTO. Let me just give you get you the season details so you can come and find us. If you want to come and race with us next week, you can do so. Oh wait, I can't do that. Hang on. Ugh. I have to do it here instead. Apologies, guys. Where are we? Here we go. Get you the season detail. Oh, excuse me. That's just me chatting away. There you go. So there's that one. So that's the SimGrid. If you want to come and join us on SimGrid, I am going to do a shameless plug. If you want to come and catch me racing, then I'm over on Twitch at the moment. Not right now, but on Sunday will be my next race. And that's my channel. Please come and join me there as well. We do lots of Le Mans. We've got POV cameras. We've got in-cockpit cameras. We've got normal cameras. We've got every kind of camera apart from... And even tow cameras. We got a feet pick. That's what we got in my racing. So I hope you guys will come and join us for next week. Anyway, that's the most important thing. And if you can't join us next week for racing and you can watch, then great. If you can't join us for either, then don't forget to make sure you come and join us in the Discord. So if you go to the RTO League on SimGrid there will be a link for the Discord. Click it, come and join us, and we will get to you guys involved next season. Season number 9 will be back. We'll probably end up doing that after the summer holidays, so September time. So plenty of time to get yourself ready for that, and then we'll get yourself your cheesy feet cam. I know, right? It's a good job you don't get smellograms on streams, right? Anyway, I will leave you with the race highlights. They are around about 15 minutes of this highlight, so I will leave you with all of them. So if you haven't managed to watch the whole race, watch this one. You did, Simon, yes, and you came back in, and yeah, it was crazy. We saw you disappear for a while and then come back. So yeah, strange, very strange. But I will leave you with the highlights of the race. If you haven't managed to watch the whole thing, this is where you need to watch it back. I have been Linksy. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll catch you guys on the next stream. Enjoy your weekend, have a good one, and I'll catch you on Thursday. Bye bye. you